As for my relationship process with people as a whole, men was my hardest part because growing up without having my natural father there, I had a lot of questions, and so I felt an energy of rejection. And so therefore it's kind of spun over into different relationship dynamics that I met with other people. It could be uncles, could have been co-workers, it has been classroom peers, but I had an issue with trusting them because I felt like they may reject me eventually for some reason. And so it made it hard to really build a good relationship, even though they would do some of the right things. It's just that I struggle with that personally because of the way I grew up.
I've always blamed Cody's drinking on me, feeling guilty that he's made the choices, and maybe not so much to follow in my footsteps because I never drink. My addiction was not alcohol. My addiction was drugs. But all in the same, it may be legal, but it is still a very harsh addiction. And I finally sat down and I cried out to God because I told him, I said, I can't bear this weight on me anymore of my son's addiction. God told me, it's not yours to bear. It's not your cross to carry, but I can't carry the guilt of his decisions. He makes that choice day in and day out to live the life he's living.
Even biological relationships, you're gonna have to disconnect from if they're unhealthy or toxic, or lead you back down that road to criminal activity, which mine with my oldest daughter was, because all she knew of that materialistic mother that bought her stuff. Anything she wanted, I made sure I got it for her, and that's what she wanted when I got out, and I couldn't do that no more. I love you, but I don't love you enough to give away my freedom. So just making those checklists that, is this leading me closer to God or away from God? Is this returning me back to my old way of doing things, or is this helping me? So if you're not helping and enriching my life, sometimes you gotta part ways, even if it's with a family member.
Before I was charged and got my new charge and everything, I was raising my son and his wife at the time, 3 babies, to the point that when they had the new baby, when my newest grandbaby was born, she wasn't 2 weeks old, and I have all 3 of them in my home, and they would be gone 2 and 3 weeks at a time. I might get a phone call twice a week, but that was it. But I have a great relationship with their mother now. She respects me. She respects what I set forth when I say that I'm gonna pick them up, but I'm bringing them home at this time. They're not given to me to keep anymore, any extensive period of time. I'm grandma. For the first time, my oldest is 10. For the first time in his 10 years of life, and the 8-year-old and the 7-year-old, I'm grandma. I get to spend the weekend if I choose, not what you want me to do. And they're very respectful of that now. The mothers are. But I had to do that for me too. I don't want to be the responsible party for your children. I didn't have them. They're yours to raise. I want to be grandma. If I want to spend 2 or 3 hours with you, I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours with you. I'm going to take you back home to mama. And a lot of times I felt selfish. When I say no, I felt selfish. But no, I have a life to live too. And they're your responsibility. And we enjoy each other so much more when we're not having to be together every day.
When you go to prison, all your family, your friends, all of the trust that you've built up with them over the years is ripped away. And it takes years to obtain that again. And it's a slow process. And a lot of people still, even now, they just assume you're a bad person. And you're not going to be able to convince everyone that you're good. You just have to keep trying to do the right thing.
Well, I believe that community is very essential because the way I grew up, we believed that the village raised the children. And so it took the neighbors, It took the church people, the librarian, the store people, all of them was a part of me growing up in my community. So with having the Refuse, it's been an honor to educate my sisters about staying connected, not just with their spiritual sisters and family members, but with the community, because the community offers a lot of resources that can help you reestablish yourself and welcome you back to the community. You know, regenerating back into community can be a challenge at times as an ex-felon, but if you connect and stay connected with the community will bring you back in like you never were gone. Some of the places that I started with was at my church. I started at my local church, kind of seeing what it is that I can do to fit in. Some things, they did have their terms where like, okay, maybe we might not let you do. We have to see kind of what your background is. So I had to be patient with them, but they were a good source of connection through the church to get out and figure out what I can do with youth, with other women who may have had a commonality as me, with the seniors, because my mom is now older, so just knowing how to be connected with that. But starting with the church, and then with like some of the local recreation centers, because they have so many things that are afforded to the neighborhood, like working out. You can't pay a gym membership, you know. Being connected to your local community center will help you with that. They also sometimes have free classes, so therefore that's something that you can utilize and as well help for your children, and you can refer to other people who may be needing it, whether they're in that community or another community.